All right, welcome back. We have talked so far about developing this open for business mindset, putting together your open house kit. So now let's talk about where do you find open houses and how do you select the right open house for you. Obviously, we're going to start with your own listing. So I want to walk through some obvious pointers, but maybe give you a couple strategies you may not have thought about. So obviously, you want to hold your open houses. If you start taking lots of listings and we're in a market, in an area in your market that is more of a buyer's market and not a seller's market, then you may need to enlist other people to help you. You might not be able to hold all your listings open. So I want to talk about a very powerful first open house, the first open house for the public. We call it the grand open house strategy, okay? Now, this is something that you put into your marketing materials. I'll go through this again when we get into working with sellers and putting together your marketing materials, because I think it's that important, this grand open house strategy. So this, again, is for your listings. You want to hold this first, and the key to all of this is as you go through, and we're going to teach you the 3 P's of listing a property, which is preparation, pricing, and promotion. And this will be the first big promotional event right after you list it, right after the listing goes live, when the property is in its best shape, if you've done all of that right, which again we'll cover in the seller modules on how to help the house look great, so the photos look great, and so on, right? So you're going to hold this open, and you are going to go through do all the promotion strategies that we'll cover in the lesson upcoming, right? Promote the event and consider having refreshments. We've done this with our team in the past and had major success in selling the home right away because we priced it right. We did this massive promotion with all the things that we're going to share with you in this module, and created a great sense of interest in the property and sold homes above list using the strategy. Again, it always depends on what market that you're in, so consider the grand open house strategy. Next up for your own listings, think about broker open houses or broker tours. Some locations, local realtor associations sponsor a broker caravan. I've seen that's very popular in California, for example. In Nevada, we really didn't do that. We had more broker opens that were sponsored at the company level. So if you're now broker opens versus regular open houses, broker opens are where you invite other agents, other professionals to attend and preview your listing. This is a popular thing to do when we're more in a buyer's market where listings are on the market a little bit longer than 30 days or 2 weeks, in low inventory markets, for example. So it may be something you'll want to put into your toolkit when the market shifts and you're more in a buyer's market. You can promote this to your company, your office, send an e-blast out through your local MLS. There's always local service providers that have the list, third-party people like, for example, ecampaignpros.com. I also know about sendtosell.com. Here's a little trick. If you want to be able to promote a listing, a just listed or an open house, a broker open house, through your local MLS, you get these listings. You always get things in the email. I'm sure you do. Just be aware of that. The next time you receive any of those emails saying, hey, here's a new listing or here's an open house, scroll to the bottom of that email and you're going to see who's the local vendor other realtors are using. Those are 2 that I'm aware of. There are others out there like Property Blast, something to that effect, but just Google it and you'll find it. The other idea for getting agents to your broker open house, again, getting a little bit more into listings if you're a listing agent, but it is in that open house category, reverse prospecting feature of your MLS. So that reverse prospecting feature, when it's your listing, allows you to see any agent who has an auto search set up for one of their clients. Obviously, you can't see their client, but what you can do is contact those agents to invite them to your broker open. By the way, that's a great thing to do when you have a price reduction, for example. You want to get back in touch with those agents and let them know, hey, we just had a drastic price reduction. Is your client still interested? All right, so the next one, if it's your listing, we talked about the grand open house strategy. This is called the special neighborhood preview. I love this idea. This one is to invite the neighbors, and think of it as a special sneak preview of the property before you hold the first public open house. And this is how it works, okay? And here's some general guidelines to follow. Make sure you include this strategy in your marketing plan when you first go over it with the seller. and you're going to get the seller involved. So here are some key points, and to get their agreement and to tell them this is what I want to do. It's something unique. And by the way, this is not something you're going to do for every property. You'll understand, use your common sense. It can work for most properties. Some properties it's more conducive, especially if you really want to showcase the features. And the whole idea here is you're wanting to invite the neighbors. And this is the reason why. Many times the neighbors may be thinking of selling their home, or they know someone who wants to move into the area or move into that same neighborhood. This happens all the time. And I found over the years that one of the triggers for a listing, I like to track this, and so I want to share it with you. If you're new to the business, watch this, start tracking this. A sign goes up in a neighborhood, and within 7 to 10 days, there's generally another sign. Just over time, just a statistical anomaly, and it's the sign that goes up that gets someone else thinking about, you know what, maybe we should put our house on the market. This is why you want to take advantage of, when you get a new listing, doing all the things around that. More on that when we talk about the listing modules and working with sellers, okay? So this invitation to the special preview is going to come from the seller. I like this idea. You're sponsoring the event. You sit down with the seller, get their help in inviting who they want to invite, get a list of people for the neighborhood through your tax records or other data that you can get, other information, so you can get a list of all the property owners and addresses and so forth. You're going to sponsor this, so you create the invitations. You can make them as fancy or as simple as you want. You can involve the seller in this. You can hand deliver them. You can knock on people's doors and personally invite them. Get your seller's help in promoting this special open house, right? And you're just going to make sure you invite everyone. And you know what? There is, even folks that are tenants are okay to invite, because sometimes those folks need to be able to buy a house, all right? So get your seller involved in this. Decide if you're going to do refreshments. You can make this, a wine and cheese event to just simple appetizers. And then people are just going to feel a little bit more special. Now, I want to share a quick story with you on this. You can go as elaborate with creating an Eventbrite or an Evite and making it special, especially if it's a higher end home, and really turn it into a bit of a party. You can think of it like you're hosting a party for your clients who are going to be moving out of the neighborhood. There's so many different ways that you can work with this, right? And make it as special as you want. But I want to share a quick story with you, because I learned this idea from a San Francisco Bay agent years ago. I just can't believe I never thought about it before. It's pretty straightforward. Maybe you've heard of it. I just hadn't. So whether you cater it, you keep it simple, it's just all about this special invitation. And hey, we want the neighbors to know about this property before we go do all the other marketing and hold that first open house. So that's the whole setup, right? And so I had a past coaching client in the Florida area, did a lot of high-end listings, and she took this idea that I shared with her and put it into practice. And the first time she held one of these special neighborhood previews, when I had my next coaching session with her, she's all excited to tell me about how well it went. So she catered an event. She just had this nice invitation go out, did all the things I just talked about, had the seller get involved in it. And then what happened is the seller was running around at this event, little party if you will, saying, oh my gosh, my agent, talking her up, saying, my agent is so great, I can't believe she's doing all this and all these other things that she's doing. And other people are like, wow, my agent doesn't do that. Long story short, Marie, her name is, got additional business from people in the neighborhood because of this one idea, all right? And you make it as elaborate as you want to. You get the idea. It's just a super cool idea, all right? And you'll follow up and do all the things that you would do at a regular open house, which I'll go through. All right, so next thing here on your own listings, before I talk about some other ways for you to get listings, to do open houses, is what if your seller does not want you to do an open house? So I just want to make sure that you're covering the benefits of an open house. I find that people will bring up that as, I don't want to have an open house because someone told them, maybe a previous real estate agent told them that they don't work. And that's because that agent didn't like doing open houses. So just probe a little bit. Can you tell me why you don't want to do an open house? And then I just included the recent NAR Homebuyer profile. There's great graphs in that annual Homebuyer and Homeseller profile. And this one here that is talking about where do buyers find the properties, what sources of information do they use. By cutting out open houses, you're getting 15% said they frequently use open houses. And there's another 30-something percent, it's close to 54% on this graph of people that occasionally or frequently use open houses. So you're cutting that part of the profile out. All right, so again, not everybody wants to hold an open house, but I think mostly it's because someone has told them not. But they may have a reason, you need to address it. Couple other things here on open houses if it's not your listing. Hold open houses in your farm area. So if you really want to be able to leverage success strategies in a farm, that you're really trying to become that neighborhood real estate agent, then find listings in your neighborhood that you're farming and ask the other agents if you can do that, right? Why you want to continue to do that is if you are truly following all the strategies for successful farming, then you want to be able to have your signs up. You want to be able to have things like magnetic car signs on your car. People need to see you is the point I'm making here. You'll be dropping off flyers. So when we go through farming techniques, if you're farming and you're holding open houses, it all goes together and you can have some great time with that, right? So where else can you get listings? We'll start with your office and your company. Check with your broker or office manager. Go into the MLS, search for office or firm listings. Ask the agents in your company or office if you can hold the listing open. If you have listings that you want to be able to hold open and they're not in your company, contact the agents in the other companies. Check with your broker first to see if this is against company policy. I find most companies are okay with it. You're going to find agents who don't like holding open houses. Now, maybe 30% of the time an agent's going to say, no, I don't want you holding my open. I have agents in my own company, or I do it myself, or my broker doesn't allow it. But you're going to find just as many times where people will be happy to have you help them out. So search the MLS, of course, in the areas that you want to do that, and then contact the listing agent and ask. Now, I've included in our downloads for you a form that you can use so you should get it in writing. You should always get it in writing, the permission that the other agent is saying it's okay. And so you can go as elaborate as the form, customize that form, or at least get an email from them. Okay, another idea is the for sale by owner. Now, I'm going to cover for sale by owner strategies in the listing and seller module that will be coming up. However, I just want to touch it here to say this is a great way to potentially find an open house. And let me just give you a quick script on this, okay? You're going to call the for sale by owner, and you're going to say, hey, this is Jan O'Brien with XYZ Realty. I'm not calling to list your property. I'm actually just wanting to know if you cooperate with realtors. And so there's a whole dialogue you'll go through here. And, if they don't know what that means, it's just basically, hey, if I had a buyer, would you be willing to negotiate a commission with me? Then they may say, hey, do you have a buyer? You're going to say, I don't know. I need to come see your property. And this is a great way to get out and visit a property. I pride myself on knowing all the inventory. These are all things that you can say. Again, I'll go over all this in greater detail and share our for sale by owner techniques in the module on finding sellers. But holding an open house is one of those tactics. And when you're out there, you can simply talk to them. Are you holding open houses? How is it going? You're basically saying, I want to be of value. I want to provide information and help you a little bit. All I'm asking in return is that if and when you get tired of trying to do this on your own, that you consider me. So you be of value now. You stay in touch with them. That's the process. And one of the things you can do right away is say, I'll be happy to hold your house open. This is what I'll do for you. I'll do some advertisement. Well, why would you do that? Well, you just said that you'd cooperate and pay me a commission if I found a buyer for you. You can take a break. You've been trying to market the home on your own. You get where we're going with this, right? So just get something in writing saying that they're okay to do that, and run it by your broker as well. All right, let's talk lastly here about some considerations for selecting an open house beyond these other ways that I just mentioned on where do you find open houses beyond your own listings. Location, location, location. So when possible, choose a listing that has great traffic and cross streets. And also options to bring traffic in maybe from two directions. So if you have a couple big major intersections, consider that is a great idea, because the more traffic, signs, this is why I want you to have 8 to 12 signs. Signs are one of the best ways to get people to your open house. That coupled with all the other promotion and advertising things that we'll talk about upcoming. Make it an that it's not too hard to find, meaning that there's not 15 turns to get into the house, right? Because what will happen inevitably with your signs, if the day's windy, signs are going to get blown over, people aren't going to be able to find it potentially, and unfortunately sometimes your signs are going to go missing. Yes, indeed, unfortunately, people will pick these signs up, and it's happened, right? So location is first, then condition. You want to take a look at the property, the price, the terms, how does it show, go preview the property. First, obviously, look at it online, go preview the property, and then how is the overall condition, how is it priced. So those are a couple considerations on price and location, condition rather, and location. So what about vacants versus occupied? Well, here's some pros and cons to both, right? Obviously, vacant properties don't always show as nice, in my opinion, if the house is staged properly. However, vacant properties are easy to hold open at a moment's notice. If you're lucky enough to have a vacant open house and it hasn't sold, that could be your place of business. You're open for business for a week or 2 weeks, depending on the market, right? So love vacants for that. Occupied homes require, a little bit more coordination. As I mentioned, they're generally going to look better because people can, as long as they're in great condition, okay. But they do require the support of the occupant, whether it's a tenant or the seller, and it's clean, and the sellers are willing to leave. This is super important. You'll need to, brief your sellers that when you're holding these open houses, they need to go. Okay, they need to be out of there for showings, so that we can get people to feel comfortable walking through and seeing if we can convert somebody that might want to buy your house, okay? So those are some of the considerations for selecting. Last thing I want to say is I think open houses can work any day of the week. It just depends on your marketplace. Maybe it really does depend a little bit on when people are working, but not everybody works Monday through Friday. So play with all the various times. You might catch people coming home at the end of the day, for example. Traditionally, you'll see more of them all held on the weekend, but try it out. Be open for business more than once a week. Try 2 or 3 times a week, and you will see that you're going to meet enough people that you'll eventually have several buyers in a month if you hold more than one a week. See you in the next lesson.